Hey y'all, I want to talk about how Joe Biden just blew up the entire goddamn election for the Republicans. It's fucking over. They wanted to talk about whatever bullshit they want to talk about. It's not gonna work out, buddy. Joe Biden just changed the whole goddamn game. And watch them cry and smoke. Oh dear, he's blaming 74 million Americans. Fuck you. Joe Biden was very clear. There is nothing more brilliant than a Democrat who takes the fight to them. I love Michelle Obama, truly do. But Michelle Obama was wrong when she said, when they go low, we go high. Fuck that shit. Rahm Emanuel said, when they go low, we kick them in the fucking teeth. And you're goddamn right. Joe Biden just kicked him in the fucking teeth. It's fucking over. Watch these fucking nut jobs try to claim some other bullshit.
Kind of bitter old man here. Kind of look like the lighting and all sort of look like Darth Vader, it seemed to me. And understand, in the past 4 days, he has called half the country fascist and extremist. And the country really wants the real problems out there. They want them addressed, like what you pointed out in your statement, in your monologue. We went from a secure border to no border. We went from safe streets to record crime. We went from stable prices to a 41-year high inflation rate. And we went from $2 gas to $5 gas, all in 18 months. I think the nation would kind of like those addressed versus being called extremist and fascist and have the government now target your freedoms and liberties like we have seen from the Biden administration Justice Department.
Now, Monica, you worked in the Trump White House, so you know optics. If you were going to liken your political opponents to Nazis, maybe employing a backdrop that looks like it could have come out of 1940s Germany, and then this opening was not the way to go.
Please, if you have a seat, take it. I speak to you tonight from sacred ground in America.
Monica. Can you remember an example of a primetime address by a president so laced with ugly and divisive political rhetoric and a backdrop that looked like that?
Well, first of all, the imagery there was almost satanic with that blood red lighting and the two Marines behind him. It was just insane. Look, this was a garbage speech by a garbage president. And the fact he gave this disgusting, dangerous speech at Independence Hall is a sacrilege. He deliberately used two phrases. He talked about extremism because of the association with terrorists and terrorism. And he also spoke about MAGA forces, as if 75 million Americans are part of some subterfuge guerrilla group. But he deliberately used that kind of language because he is making no secret of his intention of turning half the country into enemies of the state. And the purpose of that is so that they can leverage the power of the state against us. This is an incredibly dangerous moment for the country. Every dictator throughout history has employed this kind of language with that kind of backdrop. And for most Americans, I think they're really starting to see what is actually happening here, which is that the most dangerous threat we face is that our own government has now been fully weaponized against us, to the point where not only are the most fearsome agencies of the country turned against us, from the DOJ, FBI, and IRS, but also the President of the United States, who is supposed to effectively represent us all, and instead has turned all of his forces and fire upon half the country.
It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. There's nothing more joyous to me than to watch them squirm, because everything they were planning for November just got fucking pissed on. Way to go, Joe Biden. That is how you treat a Republican. Just tell the fucking truth and burn them the fuck down.
Just for how long? And one of them said to me, imagine, Joe, if you turned on the television in Washington, D.C., and saw a mob of 1,000 people storming down the hallways of the parliament, breaking down the doors, trying to overturn an outcome of election, and killing several police officers in the meantime. Imagine what you'd think. Think about what the world saw. Not what we saw, what the world saw. Did you ever think the United States that would happen? What I find even more incredible is the defense of it. Cops attacked and assaulted, speared with flagpoles, sprayed with mace, stomped on, dragged, brutalized. Police lost their lives as a result of that day. Police lost their lives. One of the officers said it was worse than anything he had experienced in war in Iraq. So let me say this to my MAGA Republican friends in Congress. Don't tell me you support law enforcement if you won't condemn what happened on the 6th. Don't tell me. Can't do it. For God's sake, whose side are you on? Whose side are you on? Look, you're either on the side of a mob or the side of the police. You can't be pro-law enforcement and pro-insurrection. You can't be a party of law and order and call the people who attacked the police on January 6th patriots. You can't do it.
This is truly nuts and threatening to the future of the United States. It's hard to believe he just did that, but he did.
Watch how they squirm. It's gonna be good. I'm Zachariah, Lone Star Liberal. We got this, y'all. Oh, and Jim Jordan? Fuck you.
Next up, as the FBI raid on Donald Trump's home reveals more incriminating evidence, we'll speak to a Republican who'll argue that the top secret and classified material was in fact not classified, declassified, planted, not important, not relevant, probably all to do with Hunter's laptop anyway, not spread on the floor but in boxes, so that's fine, and he'll also agree that he would literally defend anything that Donald Trump says or does, up to and including sacrificing his firstborn child for a Big Mac.